In the heart of 11th century India, in a small town called Sriperumbudur, a child was born into a humble Brahmin family. His name was Ramanuja. From an early age, he exhibited an extraordinary intellect and a deep sense of devotion. His father, a learned scholar, taught him the sacred scriptures, and soon, Ramanuja's thirst for knowledge led him to the great temple town of Kanchipuram. Under the guidance of the renowned scholar Yadava Prakasha, Ramanuja began his formal education in Advaita Vedanta, a philosophy that taught the oneness of the soul and the Supreme Being. However, Ramanuja often found himself questioning the rigid interpretations of his teacher. He believed that the path to salvation was not through renunciation alone but through unwavering devotion to Lord Vishnu. One day, an intense debate arose between Ramanuja and Yadava Prakasha. The young student, with humility and clarity, challenged his teacher's views. This disagreement created tension, and fearing that Ramanuja might overshadow him, Yadava Prakasha devised a plan to get rid of his disciple. He invited Ramanuja on a pilgrimage, secretly plotting his demise along the way. But destiny had other plans. A kind-hearted fellow student overheard the conspiracy and warned Ramanuja. Under the cover of darkness, Ramanuja escaped into the forest. Lost and weary, he wandered aimlessly until a divine presence guided him home. This incident only strengthened his faith. He knew now that his life's purpose was to spread the path of devotion. Years later, Ramanuja sought guidance from a great sage, Yamunacharya, the leader of the Sri Vaishnavism tradition. However, by the time Ramanuja reached Srirangam, the revered sage had already passed away. Standing before Yamunacharya's lifeless form, Ramanuja noticed that 3 of his fingers remained clenched. The disciples explained that the sage had 3 unfulfilled wishes: to spread devotion to Vishnu, to write a commentary on the Brahma Sutras, and to establish a strong spiritual community. Ramanuja vowed to fulfill them all, and miraculously, the sage's fingers straightened. Thus began Ramanuja's mission. He traveled far and wide, teaching that Lord Vishnu's grace was accessible to everyone, regardless of caste or background. In a time when society was bound by rigid social divisions, Ramanuja opened the doors of temples to all devotees. His bold actions earned both admiration and opposition. One of his most famous acts of defiance was at the temple of Tirukatiyur. His guru had imparted to him a secret mantra that would grant liberation, warning that revealing it to the unworthy would lead to dire consequences. But Ramanuja, filled with compassion, climbed to the temple rooftop and proclaimed the sacred mantra for all to hear. If this knowledge can bring salvation, let the whole world attain it. I am willing to face any consequence, he declared. His philosophy of Vishishtadvaita, or qualified non-dualism, emphasized that while the soul and the Supreme Being were distinct, they were inseparably connected through devotion and grace. His teachings laid the foundation for the Bhakti movement, inspiring saints and poets across generations. Ramanuja lived a long and meaningful life, leaving behind not just scriptures but a living tradition. His works, including the Sri Bhashya, continue to guide millions in their spiritual journey. As he breathed his last in Srirangam, his disciples wept, but his legacy endured. Even today, his teachings shine like a beacon, reminding the world that faith, knowledge, and love for the divine can transcend all barriers.